Hey guys, welcome to DevOpsSchool. Today we are going to learn about Splunk. Splunk is a tool which is used for monitoring, searching, analyzing and visualizing the machine-generated data in real time. It can monitor and read different type of log files and stores data as events in indexers. This tool allows you to visualize data in various forms of dashboards. In short, we can say Splunk makes machine data accessible, usable and valuable for everyone. But before we begin, let me inform you few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. You can join our all training programs globally through online platforms, and if you're looking for classroom workshop, then we have regular batches available in Hyderabad and Bangalore. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are.
Yep. So before starting off, let me give you a brief intro about SIM. So SIM stands for Security Information and Event Management. Okay, its full form is this. Um, it's a separate domain. Under this domain, we have Splunk tool. Okay, this is the domain. SIM is the domain. Under it, we have a tool called Splunk. Similarly, how we have network security domain where we talk about security of the network, firewall is there. Similarly, we have SIM, security information and event management. Under it, we have a tool called Splunk. Now, what is SIM? So, guys, if I can ask you, what is your understanding with SIM and what is your understanding with Splunk? Can you please explain me whatever you think or whatever you know?
So logging tool.
Logging tool, okay. Yeah, Kamran, any idea about SIM and Splunk?
No, Shahrukh Khan, as I said to you, I don't have
Okay, sure.
no idea at all.
Okay, so before moving on to Splunk, let's talk about SIM, security information and event management. What is this? Imagine there is a company called X. X company is there, who is doing his business. That company has web servers, firewall, routers, switches, and every kind of different devices. Okay, now what they want to do is, first of all, they want to store all their logs at a central location. Okay, and they want to monitor their network. So that's where SIM is coming into picture. What I do in simple terms, in simple words, I'll tell each and every device to forward your logs to my SIM tool. It can be Splunk, it can be ArcSight. Just in simple term, I'm telling these devices to forward your logs, whatever you are generating. And one more thing, what these firewalls are doing, they are allowing traffic, blocking traffic, and everything is getting written into log file. There is a web server, public facing web server. You are accessing it from outside world. Again, what that web server is doing, a web server is again creating the log files. Okay, each and every of these devices creating log file. And what I am doing with this, with the help of SIM is, or with the help of Splunk is, I'm just telling these devices, just forward your logs to the SIM tool. I'm talking in a very layman term so that you guys understand. I'm just telling these devices to forward your logs to the SIM tool, where I'll do the monitoring, where I'll do the centralized storage of logs. That's the basic funda of SIM. Okay, what I'm doing, security information and event management. I'm monitoring all this information and I'm managing the information at a centralized location. I hope it is clear now, SIM, guys.
So
Yes,
we have two
now
things
it's
here.
clear.
Yeah, please, one by one. Yeah, Nandu, go ahead. Anand, sorry.
So security information in the sense like uh, logins as well, like SSH login, any kind of login and security breaching. So do we save that information in SIM?
Yeah, we are saving each and every information. Yeah, again, it depends on the company what information it want to log into Splunk. Basically, they log all the information from
So
all the
what are
devices.
what are the other tools available apart from Splunk here?
Splunk, apart from Splunk, there are multiple tools, more than 20. ArcSight is there, QRadar is there, and Logarithm is there. So I'll show you the Gartner quadrant as well. So just wait for some time. I'll show you all the tools. Yeah. Yeah, Kamran, go ahead. Any doubt from your side?
No, I'm absolutely clear. I exactly know.
Okay,
Where you
sure. Okay, so moving ahead, yeah, so here it is written SIM, Splunk, Arcsite, QRadar, Logarithm. So these are the top tools right now in the market. I'll show you the Gartner quadrant. You will have a better understanding then. Now, my second question is why SIM is required. I gave you the basic understanding. Now you tell me why SIM would be required in your environment.
you want to store your network logs in a safer location. Number one. Number two, you want them to be retrievable upon demand for the analysis of your network and overcome any shortcomings.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, Nandu, any point from your side? Uh,
So, troubleshooting purpose, like say suppose we won't give you the access to developers for the server to the servers. So in this case, like if they want to troubleshoot an issue, like they should have access to the logging system. So that's where we have the Splunk or any other logging system. So they have access to the central logging system, so they can search based on their application or product or environment, so they can troubleshoot the issue and fix it.
yeah, absolutely right. Yep. Anything else that is coming to your mind? Let me explain then. Okay. First pointer, the most important pointer, what is why SIM is there. If I again talk in layman terms, network devices, router, switches, web server, or any kind of device, what they are doing, web server also, what they are doing, I just explained you. They, whatever is happening on these devices, they are allowing traffic, blocking traffic, giving you access, opening website. What is happening with each and every device, they are writing a log file at a particular location, or where they are installed, they are writing a log file. um if just imagine SIM was not there, what would happen if a breach, suppose you have a company X in your environment, you have firewall, web server, everything. A breach happened on your web server, someone compromised it. So if SIM was not there, your security team would have to log into that web server, check out the logs. Then the team would most probably check the endpoint logs. Then the web server team has to check the firewall logs if any other compromise or any thing is happening, VPN log, most of the things. So security team has to manually check it. And what is happening here is all these devices are writing the logs in a different format. I hope you understand. So if you check out the logs, the Cisco firewall will write the logs in a different format. You'll not be able to understand it, the raw log file. The checkpoint firewall will be writing it in a different format. The web server will be writing it in a different format. The endpoint, the antivirus will be writing the log in a different format. So it will be very difficult for a single person um, to go and investigate this thing. It has he has to check out each and every log file, and might be he is not expert in reading all of them. If he was a firewall person, he will be able to read the firewall log file, not the web server log file, not the antivirus log file. Okay, I hope you are getting the point. So now what my SIM is doing, first of all, I am telling all these devices to forward your logs into the SIM. And what I am doing at the SIM end is I am converting this logs into a standard format. Okay, whether it will be whether it will be an antivirus log, whether it will be a checkpoint log, whether it will be a web server log, any kind of log, when it goes to Splunk, it gets converted into a common format. Okay, and how it is getting converted, it is getting converted through a parser. Parser is the global term. Okay, it's just a combination of configuration file at the SIM end or at the Splunk Architecture, whatever tool it is. It is the global term is parser. That is converting these logs into a human readable format. In layman term again, all the logs are in different format, written differently. um, when it comes to Splunk, when we move it to the Splunk or SIM, what this SIM tool is doing, it is converting it into a human readable format through a parser. Okay, so I have given an example as well, so let me explain you. So just a random example. So just imagine this will be the kind of log file. Some IP address is written, some port number is written, session allowed is written, again IP address, port number, and this. If you read the log file, you will not be able to understand it. What my SIM tool is doing, it is tagging the information here, that okay, this is the attacker address, this is the attacker port, this is the name of the traffic, what is happening, this is the target address. It is tagging information, adding information to the log file. Now I'm able to understand it. Okay, what is happening, from where the IP address is coming and where it is going. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Any doubt, you can just unmute yourself and ask me.
Like,
Uh,
does it automatically understand the device and what kind of action is being performed, or do you need to explicitly write the code to send in this format to the centralized location? So how does it work?
no. So there, this parser, the combination of configuration file, we will add it into the Splunk or SIM. We'll just add this. Okay, that there is a checkpoint firewall. I need a specific parser, a configuration file. I'll upload it into the Splunk. I'll tell the checkpoint to forward the logs to the Splunk. Splunk has that configuration file, the parser. It will be able to parse the log. For web server, I'll again put a parser on my Splunk. A web server will forward the logs to the Splunk. Splunk will understand, okay, this is the web server log. I have the configuration file, the parser. I have to parse it accordingly and change it to a common event format.
So we have different parsers for each and every uh,
Yes,
device, like
almost.
either firewall or antivirus or load balancer
Yes,
or
yes.
application.
So whatever the top devices right now in the market, we have the parser available, and the parser are also called as an add-on. If you
Okay.
check in Splunk, they are add-on available for different devices. Okay. So
Yeah.
here is one more example how the machine data look like. The order processing will look like this. The middleware error, some error is coming, it will look like this. Some care IVR, okay, it will look like this. Twitter logs will look like this. So I hope you are getting my point. What is happening here? The data right now, you're not able to read it. If it is just a single log, this is a single log. If I'll show you multiple log files for a particular transaction, you will not be able to read it. What my Splunk is doing, my Splunk is tagging this information here. This is the product ID, this is the customer ID, and you will be able to understand it. Okay, once we upload data, you will understand it more. So right now I'm just giving you a basic intro. Yep, so that's all. The second point, here we need a centralized storage, and as well as we want to set the retention policy. What I mean by centralized storage is this different tools, sorry, these different devices are sending logs. I want to store them at a centralized location. Second thing is I want to set retention policy as well. What I mean by retention policy, um, for the web server log, I want to store it for 1 year. Firewall logs, important logs, I want to store them for 5 years, and after 5 years automatically delete it. I can set the retention policy at SIM. Okay. um everything is happening at a single location. Okay, all the real-time monitoring, this is the most important pointer why SIM is there. Real-time monitoring we are doing with this. Okay, sorry, this is the same pointer almost, so let me remove it. Fourth pointer, you can integrate your SIM tool easily with your ticketing tool. So what happens in an organization, if I talk about a production environment, there is ServiceNow or ITSM Remedy. So what is happening here, the analyst or the security team doesn't have to do the monitoring continuously by looking at the screen. We create alerts on the Splunk or the SIM tool. The alerts, for example, I create an alert for a failed login. So whenever some person in my organization does a failed login of 5 or more, it automatically creates an alert on the Splunk. Splunk will trigger an alert. Alert will go to your ServiceNow tool automatically, ServiceNow or ITSM Remedy, and there you will get a ticket created and it will be assigned to your queue. That's how production work. I hope you are aware of the ticketing tools, ServiceNow and ITSM Remedy. So we can integrate our Splunk tool easily with these tools. This pointer, last pointer, is specifically about the Splunk. Splunk can be easily integrated with any type of device. Okay, so very flexible. So I'll show you the Gartner quadrant. You will be able to understand anything here. Yeah, one more pointer. Let me ask you,
Sorry,
what is the difference? Yeah, hello.
So when it comes to the integration between like a Splunk and ServiceNow, right? Can you show me when we get to that point?
See, this is a very production type of example that I'm giving you. I don't have a working service now with me. Nobody has. We have to purchase it, so I can't show you the ServiceNow integration. But I can share the link with you where you can see how to integrate it with ServiceNow. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So one question from my side. Since we will be having a look on Splunk and more for the rest 2.5 hour. What is the basic difference you understand between an event, an alert, and an incident? Anybody can answer. Anything that is coming to your mind. What is the difference between events, alerts, and incidents?
So an event is something that just happens. You log an event, and an incident, I think, causes disruption, which can cause a production down and impact the business. And what was the other one? Sorry, event, incident, and
Alert.
alert. So alerts are just alerts. If just what you're talking about, this tool that sends out alerts. So,
Oh, okay.
So there's event management, incident management, and just alerts.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, Margaret, this is the first time in my past 1 year I have received a correct answer
Yeah,
from
because I'm IT
somebody.
certified.
Sure.
I've done all the change management, everything. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So basically events, if you have if I talk specifically at a general SIM level, event is basically whatever is coming into Splunk. I deployed Splunk or SIM tool, whatever thing is getting generated from each and every device, whatever they are generating, everything is called as an event. What is an alert? Specific logs that need attention. For example, someone changed some configuration on the firewall, you can consider it as an alert. Okay, you have to check whether it is legitimate or not. Incident, basically it is very high priority. It will disrupt your business, impact your business, impact your environment. That's the basic difference between three of them. So it is not related to Splunk, it's just generally I teach so that everybody understood. Now, coming to the main point, the Gartner quadrant, let me show you the journey of these SIEM tool over the years. If that link was accessible, last time it was not accessible. Website was brought down. Okay, it is working. So what is Gartner? Gartner is a very big firm that I think audits the organization, and it will create a ranking of the tools. For Checkpoint also you will see a Gartner quadrant. For other tools you will see a Gartner quadrant. So I'm showing you the Gartner quadrant from 2010 to 2018. Let me, for SIM tool, let me go down specifically to 2010. So this is the Gartner quadrant for 2010. This first quadrant is the leaders quadrant. Whoever is there, it will be the top or the leader in the market. This is the second quadrant or second position. This is the third position, and this is the fourth position. Here you will see the leaders quadrant, ArcSight is at the top. Then we have RSA. So these all are the SIM tool, whatever you are seeing here. LogLogic, Novell, NetIQ. So these all are different type of SIM tools. You see ArcSight is at the top, and if you check out, there is Splunk nowhere in the market in 2010. In the quadrant it is not there, might be it is present in the market, but you'll not see it in the quadrant. And one more thing here is the IBM QRadar. I hope you have heard if you are working on SIM or have any idea. So IBM QRadar and ArcSight is here. Splunk is not there. Now moving to 2011. This is the Gartner quadrant for 2011. Again, HP ArcSight is the leader. Okay, and here we have the IBM QRadar, and you see now Splunk is coming into the market. Okay, it is in the niche players in 2011. So I'm not showing you 2012 and 13. Let's jump directly to 2018. Here it is. Now you see Splunk is the leader right now in the market. Okay, in 2019 also it is the leader. We have IBM QRadar here, and you see this Micro Focus is the HP ArcSight. Okay, the dynamics have been changed. Splunk is the leader now because Splunk is doing very great. Its training is easily available. It is easily integrated with a number of tools. It is very flexible. So yeah, so these all are tools. So, and don't worry about the documentation. I'll provide you all the documents. Okay. Any doubts, guys? In the intro, let's move to the Splunk part then. Guys, any kind of doubt till now? Are we good? Everybody?
What's the main difference between
Alert and incident.
So alert basically, it can be anything that needs attention. For example, someone changed some configuration on the firewall. It might not be an incident. It will be an alert because somebody is doing some changes. So you need to have a look on it, whether the changes are valid or not. But if you talk about incident, it will impact your business. For example, someone shut down their firewall. It is impacting the business. Everything is blocked. It will be considered as an incident.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Till now in the introduction session, everything is good. Guys, let me know. Then only I'll proceed forward. If everybody's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good, all good.
okay, thank you. Okay, so till now we understood the SIEM, what it is, the different tools. Now specifically jump into Splunk. Okay, how the architecture of Splunk is, how we forward the logs from the Splunk. Okay, we'll see in this slide. So basically, Splunk again is a SIEM tool. Splunk is comprised of three main processing components. So these three components are the most important components. The first is the indexer, the search head, and the forwarder. Let's talk one by one. What is a forwarder? So suppose I was talking to you previously that in a company X there are checkpoint firewalls, there are Cisco ASA, web server, VPN, a number of devices are there. So to get their logs, I'll told you that in simple terms, I'll tell these devices to forward the logs to the SIM. Now practically how this thing is getting done is it is getting done through a forwarder. What I'll do on these devices, different web server, firewall, on all these things, I'll deploy a Splunk component called forwarder. And what that forwarder will be doing, that forwarder will be capturing that log file, and what these devices are doing, different type of devices, whether be it a firewall, web server, anything, they are writing logs, whatever is happening. What I'll do, I'll simply install a forwarder there and will tell the forwarder the log file that this device is generating forwarded to the indexer. The indexer will be the other component. So basically we are talking right now about the forwarder. For example, here he has given an example of web server. Web server is writing the logs. I'll deploy my forwarder on that web server, on top of that web server, and I'll tell that forwarder to forward the logs towards the indexer. So what the Splunk enterprise instance that consume and send data to the index require minimal resource and have very little impact on the application performance. So it is like the forwarder is like a very small agent that you upload, that you install on the device where you want the logs from. Okay. Uh, yep. Now talking about the second component, indexer. This is the real storage. Process machine data, store the result in indexes as events, enable fast searching and analysis. Indexer is where all the data is getting stored. I talked to you that I need through this SIM we want centralized storage and log retention policy. This is the indexer where I can store all the logs and I can set the retention policy as well. Okay. Yeah, as the indexer index data, it creates a number of files organized in sets of directory by age. So yep. Now the last component is the search head. Suppose there are multiple indexes, data is stored here. When I want to search the data, when I want to query the data, I'll have one more component, the search head, from where I log in and I will search the data. So if I want to explain you in more layman term, just give me a second. Explain it this way so it will be easy. Suppose there was a Linux machine. On top of it, what was running? Web server is running. Okay, Apache web server or whatever it is. Now I want to deploy Splunk and I want its log. So what I'll do, I will have one more Linux machine, or it can be Windows, depends on your organization. And there is one more machine. Again, it can be Linux or Windows, it depends on you. So here the web server is running, okay, on this Linux machine, or be it checkpoint firewall, ASA, anything. Okay, so it is running here. What I want its log into the Splunk. So what I'll do, I'll come here and I'll first of all install the Splunk forwarder. What this forwarder will be doing, I'll tell this forwarder just simply forward the logs to other machine where I have installed the indexer. Okay, now data is coming from the forwarder, is stored at the indexer. Now what I want to search this data. So what I'll do, I need one more machine. Okay, and on that machine I will deploy my search head. So whenever I want to query the data that is present in the indexer, I log into this machine where I install the Splunk search head. I'll write my query. The query will be transferred to the indexer. The data will get searched and fetched, and it show again to me at the search head layer. So that's how it is also called as distributed deployment. Everything is on a separate component, distributed deployment of Splunk.
Could you please
Yeah.
repeat that again? How
Yeah.
it works?
So suppose there is a web server or any kind of server running, okay, or anything, firewall or switches, anything. I'm just giving example. What I want its log to be stored in Splunk. So what I'll do, first of all, I'll install a forwarder here. Okay, what this forwarder will be doing? Forwarder is like a very small agent. It will be reading that log file and sending it to the indexer. Okay, I have one more instance about where to store the data. For storing the data, I need a Splunk indexer. So indexer is where the storage happens. So I'll deploy one more Linux machine and install the Splunk indexer here. This forwarder will start forwarding the data to the indexer, and the indexer will be storing it. Okay, now to search the data in a production environment, I need one more component called search head. So what I'll do, I'll deploy one more Linux machine or Windows machine, depends, on top of which I'll install the Splunk search head. And if I want to write query, I want to query the data that is present in the indexer, I'll log into the search head, I'll write my query. The query gets transferred to the indexer. The indexer is the data will be searched and fetched and show you at the search head layer again where you log in. So that's how the distributed deployment of Splunk is. Everything is on a different component. The Splunk forwarder is separate, indexer is separate, Splunk searcher is separate. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, is there any like a cron job which is running like every minute between forwarder and indexer that will copy the data from like web server to indexer? How it is?
It's not a cron. It's the working of the Splunk forwarder. I'll tell him that this is the log file that is continuously getting updated. You have to read this log file, and in real time, it will read the log file and send the data to the indexer.
Okay, within no time, right?
Yeah, within almost no time. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So on the indexer side, like which database do we use, like what kind of database?
So there is no particular name of the database, Splunk only. No particular name to the database.
Like where does it store that log files? That's what my question is.
In
Like,
the indexer only.
in the indexer, like
It's
it should be
yeah.
storing in some database, right?
There is no specific name to the database given. No specific
Is it,
name. If you Google it also, there is no name. It is stored in the indexer only.
so they have a database, but they don't reveal. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there is no name to the database.
Okay.
So
And where do we use the parsers in this case?
so if you talk about the parser is getting used here. The data that the conversion that is happening, it is happening at the indexer layer. Forwarder is doing nothing. Forwarder is just capturing the log file, just reading the log file and forwarding it to the indexer. Indexer will parse the data and store the data. Okay.
Okay. So can we cover that portion, like parser for web server, or like any web server like Apache? Are we going to cover that?
We'll see if we have time. I'll show you. No issues. I'll show the main funda here in the parser is the configuration file. If you get that configuration file, it is available. I'll show you at the end of the session if we have time. No issues.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, any other doubt on this? Are we good?
Yeah, there's no doubt, but you just simplified everything to an extent where I think the core, if you like, mean all these three machines you talk is the Splunk forwarder and indexer and the search head. How do they talk to each other? Where does the networking sit for the communication between all these three machines?
So you want to yeah, so specifically they each of them talk. So here the port that needs to be opened is 9997 TCP. we have to open it between the forwarder and the Linux machine. The forwarder will send data to the Linux machine at TCP 9997 port. Here at this layer, come here. They both of them, the search head and the indexer, talk at the port 8080. Okay. And internally, if you talk about Splunk, internally this forwarder will be running. So this is internal. It is there is a service called Splunk. I'll show you. It will run at 8089 port or in all of these instances where the Splunk is installed.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Guys, any doubt here? Are we good? Let's talk about the second deployment. So I went ahead. I think let me show you one more deployment here. It is there or not? Okay, one second. There is one more deployment. This is the distributed one. This is the production environment. That's how a production environment looks like. Now, if you want to do your testing, your own testing, if you want to download in Splunk, check out the Splunk how it looks. So let me show you that as well. Before that, just give me a second. Yeah, so let's talk about the one more architecture. So this is the architecture of Splunk. Okay, architecture of Splunk. This is the distributed deployment of Splunk where everything is on a different instance or different machine. Forwarder is installed on Linux, is this machine. Indexer is installed on separate machine. This search is installed on separate machine. Now what I want to do testing. Okay, I want to test my Splunk in very small environment just for testing purpose, learning purpose. So this there is a deployment called standalone deployment. And what is there in a standalone deployment? Like my laptop is with me. My laptop. Okay, your laptop. It is. You want to do testing. What you will do? You will download the Splunk on your laptop only. It will be working not specifically as a forwarder, but whatever the file present. For example, if I downloaded and installed Splunk on my laptop, okay, on here on my laptop I downloaded and installed Splunk, it will not work as a forwarder basically. But if there are log files available on me, any kind of file, I'll ingest into the Splunk. So you can say kind of forwarder, not complete forwarder. It can work as not complete forwarder, but yeah, whatever files present on your laptop, whatever files on laptop it can read, you can ingest. Okay, ingest. Now second thing is indexer. I have installed Splunk on my laptop. It can index the data and store the data as well, and you can search the data as well. So what is happening here, I just download and install Splunk on my laptop. I'll show you this one. It is having all the components. So what I'm doing here, I can do here on my laptop as well, but it is for very small scale. It is not recommended in production. It will crash if you do this. But for your testing purpose, you can download and install Splunk on your laptop, and it can do everything. So let me show you quickly how to do it. First of all, if you want to download packages from the Splunk, there are basically only two packages available. First of all, okay, yeah, let me explain that as well. People get confused here. First of all, let's talk about this architecture. I want an indexer, I'll download and install Splunk. I need a searcher, I'll download and install Splunk. I need a forwarder, I'll download and install Splunk. What file is required? What installation file is required? To download the particular installation file, you need to go to the Splunk website. So here you can download, just write download Splunk. Here it is coming, enterprise for free. Let me open that. So the latest version of Splunk that is running is 8.0.2. Okay, if you want to download Splunk, you need to get registered on this website splunk.com. So here is the registration page. Just put your name, email address and phone number, and you will get registered easily. Okay, you need to create a username and password as well. Just remember it. You will get your account will get created on this Splunk website. After that, you will be able to download Splunk. Okay, now one more thing, let me show you here. Let me log in first of all. So I already have my account, so let me log in here and I'll show you. So my account was already created, so I'm just logging in. Yep. Splunk Enterprise 8.0.2. Based on your operating system, if you have Windows 10, download this file. 64-bit. If you have 32-bit Windows 10, download this file. If you have a Linux operating system, download the required Linux file. If you are on Mac OS, download the required files. Mine is Windows, so I'll download and install this one. Now there is one more important thing just to capture here. Sorry, there it is. What software do you install? Splunk Enterprise. I just open for you Splunk Enterprise. If you want an indexer, if you want a search head, you will download this package. If you want a forwarder, universal forwarder, what you want, you need one more packages. There are only 2 packages available on this Splunk website. Okay, just keep this in mind. Download Splunk forwarder. Yeah, here it is. Just keep this thing in mind. There are only 2 packages available on the Splunk website. Okay, this is the second one, Splunk Universal Forwarder, and the first one is the Splunk Enterprise. If you want an indexer, a search head, just download this Splunk Enterprise package. If you want a Universal Forwarder, just download and install this package. So if I want to show you here, if I need to get the logs from this machine, Linux machine, I'll download and install the Splunk Forwarder, this package, this one, based on the operating system. If I want to create an indexer, I'll download and install this package, Splunk Enterprise. Just keep in mind. Again, search it, this package. Important thing, important concept. People get confused here. Universal forwarder for forwarding the logs. I'll download and install this package, and it will start forwarding the logs by making changes in it. Okay, I hope I'm clear here. So once you see, once I'll show you the practical also by the end of the class, you will be able to better understand. So just yeah. Now this is, we talked about the distributed deployment, how we create the distributed deployment, what all files, what all installation file I need. There is only 2 files available on the website, Splunk Enterprise. If you need an indexer, a searcher, download and install that Splunk Enterprise. If you need a forwarder, you need to install forwarder somewhere, get the logs, just download and install that universal forwarder. This is the first distributed deployment. Now talk about these standalone deployment. If you want these Splunk for testing purpose, for installing it on your laptop, you can do that as well. So if I want to download Splunk here, which package I'll download on my standalone deployment? If I want to install Splunk for testing purpose, just tell me, guys. I want to do testing. Which package I need to install? I want to make a standalone deployment on my laptop.
So you will do Splunk Enterprise, I believe.
Okay. Anybody else, guys? Any guesses?
Enterprise.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely right. So I'll definitely install this Splunk Enterprise. Why? Because I want to create a standalone deployment, basically. Okay. Yep. So guys, one more question. If just imagine there is a server available. There is a log file getting an application is creating a log file. I want to get that log file. Which component I'll install? Which Splunk I'll install?
What's that?
You will
Is it?
need definitely need indexer, but you will need some sort of forwarder as well.
Yeah, definitely. So what Splunk component I'll install on that machine, on that web server, or for example any kind of server where that log file is present. I want to forward the logs. So what agent I'll install there on that server?
Forwarder.
Yeah, absolutely right. I hope everybody is clear now. So I'll download and install this thing from wherever I want the logs. Okay. So this is clear. Great. Now what I'm doing right now, I want to install Splunk on my laptop and I want to run it. So I need this Splunk Enterprise. Okay, just click on this download, it will start downloading it. But I have already had this Splunk available with me. I already downloaded previously. Just give me a second. Installation file, here it is. So once you download it, it will look like this. Okay, you just click on it. It will, I already have it. So basically the Splunk installation is very easy. It's just a 3-step process. Okay, I'll show you also later. It's just a 3-step process. In the first step, it will ask you where to install the Splunk. Just give it the directory. In the second step, it will ask you for the username and password. Okay, just give it a username and password. If you didn't give any username and password and you click next, the default username will be, if you without anything you just click next, the default username will be admin and the password will be change me. Okay, and just that your Splunk will be installed. Just try it once during the break. Okay, I'll take a break just after 15 minutes. Just try it. Once you install Splunk, you will be able to access it on your web browser on this port localhost semicolon 8000 and just hit enter. It will ask you for the username and password that you gave during the installation. Just sign in. And one more thing, if you are installing it on your company laptop, just if it is not accessible on port 8000, just try to change the port to 8001. Okay, it will start working. This is the Splunk console. That's how Splunk looks to us. Okay, this is a standalone deployment. I install it on my laptop only. Okay, I'm accessing it through this localhost port 8000. And one more thing, where is the task manager?
What about Linux installation?
I'll show you Linux one at the end of the class. So Windows, it's very easy, just a 3-step process. 3 next you have to click. What I was showing you. This is the important service that is running Splunk service. If you kill it, the Splunk will stop working at the backend. Okay, it internally it runs basically at port 8089. Just remember the port Splunk service and port is 8089. Anything else I missed? Just give me a second. I covered almost everything. Yeah, okay. So this is the standalone deployment that I install on Splunk. I'll show you how to upload the file. Before that, let me just show you some basics. Where it is, what all things are important here. Yeah, Splunk web server setting. I have installed the standalone deployment. Whether be it if let me open this. Whether you are logged in here, whether you are logged in here, sorry, whether you are logged in on search head, whether you are logged in on indexer, they almost are similar. The console is almost similar. So I have installed, I'm working on this one. This console is also similar to this. Splunk is using a standard console. Be it you create as an indexer, be it a search it, the console is similar. So this is the console. Here is the settings panel. One second, what happened?
So both will be running on the same port in the standalone deployment. Can you hear me, Sharuk?
Guys, am I audible now?
Now we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I think
So
it's
actually, I have a question. Like in the standalone deployment, like what are the ports for forwarder and like indexer and search head?
this one.
Yeah, in the standalone, like if I want to access indexer console.
Everything is working through this console only. Through this console only, everything is working. Be it
Oh,
indexer is nothing. Indexer is just for storing the logs.
yes.
Basically, what happened in production environment, we disable the GUI here so that nobody logs in here. Yeah, everybody has to go through this search only to search the logs. But the console is almost similar if you don't disable the GUI. Why we are disabling is the GUI here is so that people don't log in here. See, whether it is an indexer, whether it is a searcher. If I logged in here, I query the indexer. I'll put some query there. It will show me the result here as well. In the indexer here as well. What is happening here?
Guys, am I audible to you?
Yeah, Sharik, we can hear you now, but not before.
I think I just something is happening with the mic. Yeah. So I was saying, we disable the GUI here. If you logged into the indexer, the console will be similar. You can log into the search as well. Console will be similar, but here we disable the GUI. Reason being, we don't want people to search the data by going directly on the indexer. Reason being, because my indexer is already doing the parsing. It is the most important thing. Parsing it needs a very high amount of memory, and it is also storing the data, writing the logs. So we don't want a person to log in here and then search the data directly here as well, right? The queries, again, that query will get executed and data will be fetched from the indexer. That's why we are separating things. We have already installed the searcher on a separate component so that I can write the queries from there. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So just bear with me just for half an hour. I'll show you the concept. You will have a better understanding when we upload the data and when we are searching through it. So before that, uh, let's focus on the basic things. Um, we have installed this Splunk and it is running. Now there are some basic settings. If you want to change, if you want to tweak, you can come here in the settings panel here. Where server settings. If I click on this, yep. See, these are the general settings. So let me open some of them. So this is the Splunk server name that is used by Splunk internally. If there are multiple components, for example, the search head, the indexer, this is the name that they will use. Okay, it is showing the installation path where it is installed. The management port is 8089, where the important Splunk service is running. Here, for example, if it was an indexer, okay, I want to disable the GUI, you can just click on no here. If you click on no, if this is my laptop only, if I click no, so this web server GUI interface will stop working. Okay, you will not be able to Splunk will be running, but the Splunk web will stop working. Here is the web port. It is right now working at 8000. If you want to change it to any other port, if your firewall doesn't allow 8000, it allows 8001, you can just change it to 8001 from here directly. Okay. uh yep. So here is the index name, default host name of the index. This is where all your data will get stored. C program file Splunk warlib Splunk. This is the directory inside which whatever data I am uploading to the Splunk or whatever data is coming from the forwarder will be stored here. If I want to show you as well, we'll see it in Linux as well again. But if I want to quickly show you, program file Splunk warlib Splunk, here all the data will be stored, whatever you are storing in Splunk. This is the directory. Yep. If you want to change the login background, here is the login background settings, where you can change the background image. For example, if you are working for a company, um, you want your company logo to be shown at the backend with the login page, so you can just upload that custom image from here, and that login page will be changed. Then moving ahead, email setting. Basically, it is basically used for sending emails through the Splunk. So for example, if I created an alert on my Splunk, I want a ticket to be created on ServiceNow automatically, or whenever an alerts get triggered, I want to receive an automatic email on my email address. For doing that, okay, for making the Splunk to send email, for doing that, first thing you need is you need to configure the email server here. Okay, so this will be basically, you will just copy this snapshot and send it to your email server team. What they will do at the backend, they will create a username on the email server and will give it a password. For example, they will create a username Splunk and give it a password, and they will share it with you. So what you have to do, you just have to get that username and password. So what if it is Splunk and there was some password, just put that and just save it. So nothing needs to be changed. It is default settings. Just save it. What will happen at the backend is your Splunk will now talk to the email server. Will be able to talk to the email server if you put the username and password here. So for example, if an alerts get triggered in Splunk and I want to receive an email, so what will happen? An alerts get triggered, my Splunk will contact the email server, so with the username and password, log in there, and will send an email directly through that email server to the email address or whatever I have configured. So important setting here. Yep. Any doubts, guys, in any of these? Are we good?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So rest of the settings are not that much important. If you want to restart your Splunk anytime, so there are three methods. First of all, you can go here in server controls. You can restart your Splunk from here. If you have task manager running, you can restart this Splunk D service from here. And if you are on CLI, for example, command prompt, just go to the Splunk bin directory and you have to run the command Splunk restart. So that's how you restart Splunk. So I have you have to go to the bin directory of Splunk and just write this command. So Splunk can be restarted from these three methods. Anything important here? Restarting Splunk. Okay. Okay. Monitoring console. Really important thing, really important concept. Let me go back. So this is the home page. My license got expired, no issues. So what I want to show you is the monitoring console. What monitoring console is and what all things are there. Let me open it up. So this is right now I am into the monitoring console. Here is the monitoring console. I clicked on this. Okay, it is showing me mode as standalone. If it was a distributed deployment, it will show you distributed here. It is talking about the Splunk enterprise server. I am running 7.2.3. It is talking about my operating system, Windows 8 GB physical memory, 2 CPU cores. Now, what this monitoring console is, here you can see health checks. Let me open it. Indexing performance and instance. So what this basically monitoring console is, Splunk collects a lot of data about itself. Monitoring console is a Splunk admin only app used to monitor and investigate Splunk performance, resource usage, and more. If I talk in a layman term again, what this monitoring console is doing, it's like a health check of my Splunk instance. This Splunk I installed and running. Okay, this Splunk. Right, okay, licensing, I'll check it out later. This Splunk enterprise is running on my laptop. What I want to check its health. So I'll go to the monitoring console and I'll receive a huge amount of information where I can check. So guys, just give me 2 minutes. I need to drink some water. Just a minute.
Sharuk, when you set this up in your local, like in your laptop, so will it like trigger the notifications and will it do the same job how we do in the organization level? Hello, Sharuk, can you hear us?
He went for water.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Thanks, Nandu.
Yeah, okay. So here you can see a lot of information about Splunk. So let's check some of the important here. Monitoring console platform alert. Okay, let's go to this thing setting.
Uh, Sharuk,
Yeah.
I was asking about one thing when you were on break. I didn't realize that you went to water. But one thing was like when we install this in our local like on your laptop. So will it trigger the alerts and all that stuff, like how it work in a like a basic level?
Yeah, just allow me some time. I'll explain that alert as well. So basically, if you install Splunk, it will not do anything until and unless you tell it to. So we'll
Yes.
configure alert as well. Yeah, just give me some time. I'll show you that as well. So basically, what we are doing with this, we can see the health of our Splunk instance, whether it is running right or not. Okay. Before that, there are these monitoring console platform alerts. So here is the alert setup. So what we are doing with this, we are setting up the alert for this health of the Splunk instance. This is not the production environment alert that we set. This is about the health of my Splunk instance. Okay, for example, um, expired and soon to expired license. If my license on this Splunk is expiring, near critical disk usage, if the disk usage of this Splunk instance is very high, search peer not responding, total license usage near daily quota. So these are the alert setup of the health of the Splunk. This is not the production environment that how we set up. I'll show you that as well. So they are in disabled state. If you want to enable them, you can enable it from here. Okay, it will be enabled and it will start triggering for the health of the Splunk. Okay, this is where I reach setting alert setup. Okay, about the performance or the health of my Splunk instance, these are the alert. So they will start triggering. It is in disabled state previously. If you want to enable them, you can enable from here by clicking here. Okay, this is one method how you don't have to continuously monitor for anything about the health of the Splunk instance. It is automatically getting triggered with the help of these alerts. Okay, it will start triggering for in here messages. Okay, or one more thing, if you want to set it up, for example, if my license is getting expired or it is getting within it is at the expiry within 2 weeks, I'll not be able to log in continuously on this monitoring on this Splunk instance to see the alert here. So what I can do, I can make it to deliver it to my email address. Okay, here I'll click on this advanced setting, advanced edit. Here you will receive, here is an option of actions. What I'll do, I can put my email address here. We'll see this later. I'm just directly going to the actions tab. What I want is there are multiple options available to me. I want to run a script on this trigger. I want to send an email. I want to post the alert onto a specific URL. Multiple options I have. What I want to do, if I want to deliver an email address, I'll click on this send email. Here, I'll just put my email address. What will happen at the back end? It will whenever this alert gets triggered, it will automatically deliver the alert with the log file, whatever the logs are. If you want to attach the PDF or attach the link or anything, it will deliver directly to your email address. And one more thing, for doing this, for Splunk to send the email, you have to configure the server setting that I told you. It needs to talk to, in the meantime, it needs to talk to an email server. Then only you will be able to send an email from your Splunk. Okay, in production environment, we configure this. After that, your Splunk can easily send the email. So this is about the platform alerts. And one more thing, in production environment, we click on this health check. These are pre-configured checks. What we do, we make it a daily practice. So whenever our shift start, we usually come on this health check page of the Splunk and we'll just start this health check. So what it is basically some queries are pre-written and it will show you the result here. The health check is successful, everything is good here. Event processing issue, there is no issue, everything is good. Saturation of event processing queue, any queue is saturating, it will show you the alert here. The health check here. So it is now giving you a report, a kind of report. For example, if there is any warning near critical disk usage, at least one partition or at least one instance was found with disk usage about 90%. So this is where my analyst or the people working on Splunk can come here and easily check for any errors or warnings. Okay, so they don't have to worry about or check each and everything on this Splunk. They can just easily come onto the monitoring console, come on this health check and just run this health check every day. And these are the parameters that are written on which my Splunk will run the health check and will show me the result. So these two are really important, alert setup and the health check. Any doubt here, guys? Everything good?
What are the other options after health check? Can you just go to the previous page? Indexing and search and restore usage, resource usage. So what are those options?
So if you want to see your indexing performance, the data is getting indexed. If you want to see how much data is getting stored in different buckets and all, so all this information is available. Here there are beautiful graphs that you can see. So see here, graphs are there, multiple things, n number of graphs. It's very this Splunk has a very flexible and easy to understand graphical user interface. So n number of options you can see here. It is so if it's written indexing, it talks about indexing. If you click on this indexes and volume, n number of graphs you can see here. Resource usage will talk about the resources that your instance is consuming. So all these things. Okay.
So this is the same thing for indexer as well as the search head. Like right now we're in the standalone deployment, right? So can I see this kind of statics for each and every like indexer as well as the search head server?
Yeah, you can see it. So basically we'll disable the GUI at the indexer in a production environment. We don't recommend logging in through the GUI on the indexer.
But we save the data in the indexer, right? So
It is
even the
connected to the search head. It is connected to the search head. If I want to search any data, I'll log into the search head and will write my query. My search head is at the backend is connected to the indexer. It will transfer the query to the indexer. It will fetch the data and show it to me at the search head again.
so how can I get the notifications if my search head is goes down?
If your search head is
Goes down, like if
so
my search head itself is it went down.
So if you are talking about that, there is one more component that needs to be deployed. If you want to monitor your search head and indexer, here you will deploy one more one more instance that is called as monitoring console. That will be monitoring both of them, this indexer as well as the search head. It will be monitored by the monitoring console. They will transfer their logs, whatever they are generating, to the monitoring console, and there you can set up an alert if any of them goes down.
Earlier you were able to access this console, right? So how did you go there? Can you just navigate once?
Sorry, 1 second. Linux machine, you need one more Linux machine. If you talk about a real production term, the architecture will be bigger. You need one more instance, for example, Linux machine or Windows machine, where you will deploy the Splunk enterprise again, and you will use it as a monitoring console where all these other instances will be sending their logs to this Splunk enterprise, and it is monitoring the health of both of them. It's a high availability production environment. Okay, here I'm talking at a very low level production environment where you have these components. But if you talk about production environment, we have one more monitoring console. If it again, the indexers are again clustered, we are we are talking about the real production environment. Okay, if the indexers are clustered, then again you need one more component called cluster master to manage these indexes. Okay, so it's not an architecting class. I hope you understand. So I hope you got the concept now, how things are happening.
Earlier, like you were showing monitoring console. Like how did you go there?
This one, it is available on each and every instance here in this monitoring console from here. Clear?
Okay.
It is available here in the settings tab.
Okay.
Okay, licenses and then the practical. Okay, guys, let's take a short break of 15 minutes. We get back at
Hi, Charles.
10 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, just want to understand myself. So, how does the admin job, differentiated with developer role, like in the Splunk? Because like sometimes in the company they were asked to work as admin or like developer. So, just want to understand.
See, the admin will be basically managing these Splunk instances, all these Splunk instances in your production environment. Um,
Okay.
Creating, installing add-ons, managing Splunk, creating alert report and all. This is the task of the admin. Regarding the developer, see, there is multiple confusion in the industry. Some people
Yeah.
assume the L1 analyst who has only read-only access on the Splunk, he will be able to monitor the alerts basically. People call him as developer as well. Okay, and some courses are also being published as Splunk developer. If you check out the IntelliPath website, so the basic L1, the first certification is Splunk Power User, and second is Splunk Admin. Splunk Power User is for monitoring purpose L1 analyst, and there is a role also available on Splunk if you go here. Roles of Splunk, the accesses that you can see on Splunk is access control here. This roles, there is a user, this one, power user and admin. Admin has full control over the Splunk. So if you are getting a job of admin, you will be an admin on Splunk and will be managing Splunk whole soul. User is basically has read-only access. He can just see certain things, like he can see the search and reporting app. He can query. He can see the reports created by other. He can't be able to create reports, or he can only view the data. Okay, this is what the developer is doing in some organization, and some other organization developer will be core to Splunk. He will be creating new kind of apps, inside apps. What an app is in Splunk is, we can see beautiful dashboards pre-created. Okay, beautiful dashboard, beautiful reports pre-created. So he will be responsible for creating it, and yeah, that's the basic funda.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Also, Sharuk, if you already covered or not, I'm not sure. Will you able to give me a brief idea at one point whenever you feel it's right? So between Elk and Splunk, is there any like a differentiation we can do quickly?
Elk, I have not worked on Elk, but one thing is, I worked on Oxide and Splunk, and yeah. So basically, Elk is, you're talking about this SIM tool, na? One more, am I right? Hello, ELK.
Yeah, Elk. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, see, there are n number of tools in the market. Okay. If you understand one tool, this Splunk or Oxide or whatever it is, the 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 main thing is the concept is the same. There will be always a forwarder. In Oxide, we call it connector, an agent basically, that will be forwarding the logs to a centralized location. In Oxide, we call it as ESM. In Splunk, we are calling as an indexer. So see, the concept will be same, only there will be a slight difference between the name of the component and the working. A slight difference, not much. So you can imagine, ELK, Splunk, Oxide, all of them are same. It's just that there is a separate naming convention, a little bit of change in process. Almost everything is similar. That's what I understand from my past 5 years of experience.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I hope everybody's back. Let's talk about licensing. We understand, okay, how Splunk, basic working of Splunk, monitoring console, and all this thing. Now let's talk about the money term, license. Um, there are basically mainly two type of license. The first one is the enterprise trial license, and the second one is the enterprise license. What I mean by enterprise trial license, when you guys are downloading this Splunk from this website, sorry, where it is, download Splunk here. When you are downloading this Splunk from this website, it automatically comes with a limit of 500 MB per day. You can ingest. This license is based on the data ingestion or data storage. Okay, it is 500 MB per day limit. If you exceed that, it will be a violation of your license. And this 500 MB per day is valid for 60 days. Okay, 500 MB per day, valid for 60 days. This is the enterprise trial license that you guys get when you download these Splunk. After that, you have to purchase the enterprise license. Okay, this is purchased from Splunk, and basically it has full functionality of this. There are multiple things: deployment server, searcher, indexing. It is also available here, but yeah, basically it is also available here. You can use the enterprise trial license for 60 days. The difference is it has a 500 MB per day of limit. In enterprise license it is similar, but this limit will be more. For example, if you are purchasing a license for 2 GB per day, okay, for 1 year or for 2 year, for 3 year, it depends. That's what is the basic difference between them. So when you download and install Splunk, you will automatically get, you don't have to purchase anything, you will automatically get the enterprise trial license with 60 days of validity and 500 MB per day limit. After that, you have to definitely purchase the enterprise license from Splunk. Contact the Splunk sales team and purchase a license according to your requirement, whether be it 5 GB per day, 10 GB per day. Okay, I hope it is clear.
So
Guys, it is clear? Yeah.
can we install Splunk on premises, like without buying a deployment server from Splunk?
Yeah, you can install it in on-premise. The limit will be 500 MB per day.
So when you say deployment server in the enterprise license version, second line, so
This
full
one,
functional for, yeah, what does that mean?
deployment server is basically, see, it's in a production environment. Deployment server will be used to manage this. Suppose there are multiple forwarders installed. Okay, at this layer there are multiple forwarders installed. So you can deploy the Splunk Enterprise again, Splunk Enterprise, and you can make it to work as a deployment server. There are multiple components apart from these three. You can make it to work as a deployment server. What the working of deployment server is, in production environment there are 10,000 forwarders. You can't monitor it thoroughly. So what we are doing, we will deploy the deployment server, and all these forwarder will report to the deployment server. If anything goes down, you will be able to receive an alert if you have configured, or you can just log into this deployment server and see it. Okay, with the free license, this capability is also available. I don't know why it is written, but all this functionality of the enterprise license is available in the enterprise trial license also. The basic difference is this limit, 500 MB per day you can ingest. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Before moving ahead, okay, reports and alerts is pending. Just give me a second. Let me check out that thing. Splunk. I think here is the one. Just guys, give me a second. Uploading the file. Okay, so where was I? Creating reports and alerts. Two things are pending. Okay. Now we understand, okay, how the license work, monitoring goes, and everything about it. Let's check out how to create an alert in a production environment. Suppose it was a production environment. This is my Splunk. Oh, sorry, where it is. This is my Splunk. You can go here in the in the apps search and reporting here. Click on this. Skip it. Basically, through this app, whatever data is present on this Splunk, you can query. Just imagine, for example, if you want to imagine it as this one, this distributed deployment. Let me remove this line so that it is visible. Distributed deployment. Just imagine if we are at search it. The console is almost similar. Okay. If you want to query any data, you can come on this page, app search and reporting, and you can write your queries from here. You can, if you want to create reports, you can create your reports from here. If you want to create any kind of alert, you can create alert from here. If you want to create any dashboard, okay, all these things are available to you, where in the app search and reporting. Okay, here everything is available to you. Now suppose since this is a standalone deployment, what I want right now, I would have data, some internal data. Here, how to write a query? First of all, here write index is equal to star. What will happen? Inside Splunk indexer here, where it is. Here we are here right now. There can be multiple indexes. Indexer is where the data is stored. Inside indexer, there are virtualized compartment called index. It can be multiple index. Okay. I am searching the data that is present across all this indexer. Whatever data is present, just show me. Here is the time range. I will be selecting all time. If you want to search for a particular time range, you can mention the time range from here. I'm searching for all time. If I click on this, sorry, my license is expired. I'm uploading a license, guys. I have my license available, so you can see the license upload as well, how to upload it. Mine is expired. It is more than 60 days. I think it is more than 1 year. That's why it is showing me that my license is expired. So just give me a second. Licensing. So trial license group, here you can see license expiration May 2 2019. It got expired, so I'm adding my license. I have one license available with me. It is my license.
What is datasets?
One second. Okay, just copy that license and just paste it here. It will be installed. Yes, what are you saying?
What is datasets?
Where it is written?
Uh,
You are
I just
referring to.
I installed Splunk Lite and on Linux machine. So
Mhm.
it is giving that option like search datasets, reports, alerts, dashboards.
Yeah, one second.
So
Come on, Splunk. Come on, Splunk. I hope I uploaded the right license. Okay, my license is good. What I was doing, I was searching some data. Okay, here you can search the data. Right now it is showing me nothing. I think so. This is equal to star. Hit this. Okay, no results. Why? Because nothing is stored on my Splunk right now. Now there is one more file that I placed for you, installing Splunk and adding data into it. So this is the one. Yeah. So before seeing the logic, we are talking about the standalone deployment. Here, if you want to upload some data on your Splunk standalone deployment, you can come here, settings. This is my standalone deployment, add data here. You click on this. Here is the option of uploading it, uploading any files from the computer. You can click on this. If I want to upload any file, just you can select it from here. That file will be installed. So suppose there is some product file. I'll click on this, hit next. Here is the source type, the parser. It is a CSV file. That's how my file look like. I'm clicking on next and hit review and submit. Now the data is stored. If I start searching it, I'll see my data. See, the data is now visible to me. Okay, that's how the data is uploaded into Splunk. This is standalone deployment. I just uploaded a file that is present on my desktop into the Splunk. Okay.
So what is parser? Like which parser did you use?
It is a CSV file, random CSV file, so I don't have to use any specific parser. So if you want to see the list of the parser, just click on the setting. Here is the option of data input. Not sorry. Source type. 1 second. Source type here. Parser is a general term. If you talk in SIEM, we call it parser. Specifically, if you talk in Splunk, it is called as source type. So I clicked on that. I have JSON. I can parse JSON file. I can parse Apache file, Cisco ASA, CSV files. So mine is CSV, so it automatically selected CSV. So n number of options I have. So I think there are more than how many? 100 page. So that's that much things you can parse. Okay, source type.
Okay.
Okay, so now you understand this concept. Now move on to there was one question data set who asked me. Here data sets. See, this is a very advanced concept. When you are onto this, where it is, data model. I hope you have heard about data model. So when you are working on this data model, this will be utilized. Very advanced concept. So I think it will be out of your scope. Yep. So let's talk about alert. We have something. What we are doing right now is we want to create an alert so that we get notified. Okay, how to create an alert? Basically, you can go into this search. Okay, what alert I want to create. So basically, you have to first, if you are talking in production term, being a security analyst, first how to create an alert is first you will analyze the logs that are coming onto your console. First is the requirement on what you want to create an alert. For example, if you are working on Windows log, you want to create a Windows failed login alert. Okay, so what will you do? You know the requirement that I have to create a failed login alert. Then the second thing is you need to analyze all the logs. What is the fields that are coming when a failed login is getting triggered? What all things I need to capture? Okay, after that, you know the requirement, you capture the important information where that information is coming, then you create an alert. Okay, you write that query here. I'm just randomly going. You hit search and then you will receive an option of creating an alert. So right now, let me show you by an example. I have a very great example here, creating an alert. Yeah, so yep, so this is one of my lab exercise. So here is the scenario. For security reason, you need to monitor failed login attempts on your Splunk search it, for example, or your Splunk standalone deployment as well. You are only interested in failed logins from the admin account. You want to be notified when there is more than one failed login attempt within 1 minute. What we are doing right now, we are creating an alert that will monitor the failed login attempts on your Splunk here. This one. Whenever someone tries to do a failed login here, if I log out here from where it is, administrator. If someone log in with an admin account or any account here, okay, and he tries to do a failed login, I want to get notified. That's my requirement. Okay, an alert gets triggered. How to create it is basically, first of all, you have to have a specific query, or you have to search the logs when a failed login attempt is getting generated. Okay, you want to get that information. So first of all, what I'll do, I'll just randomly generate some failed login attempts so that we can analyze. This is my admin, so I just tried a failed login attempt. Let me try it with mine as well. Okay, I just generated randomly some failed login attempts. Now let's sign in. Now let's go to the search and reporting app. So all the information related to the Splunk, okay, whatever we are doing on Splunk, it is getting stored in an internal index. It is internal to Splunk. Okay, there are multiple internal indexes, storage that talks about the storing of logs that is related to Splunk. This is not a customer data. If it was a customer data, I'll store it in a separate index. Right now, I'm just talking about Splunk. Okay, whatever is happening on Splunk. So let me make it 5 minute, last 15 minutes. So with this, it is whatever failed login attempts or anything that is happening on my Splunk, it is getting stored in the audit index. So if we check out, so this is the logs, failed login anywhere. So you can type fail here. No, this one. Info failed, so that is related to search. Let me check out my file, I forget. So here is the lab manual, so I'm just directly jumping to the query. So here is the solution. If you want to do it, here is this lab practical is divided into two part. Lab module 13, creating alerts. So in first, it is just guiding you, giving you hints how to create an alert. Okay, you can do it on your own, but right now I'm directly jumping to the solutions. Here is the same with solutions part. So I want to see the query. Index audit action login attempt info failed user admin. Okay, action is login attempt. So this query is written here. Okay, just here it is. It is here. Login attempt. Sorry, 1 second. What happened? My mouse.
So what is the query language which we are using here? Like, do we have any name for it?
Splunk processing language, we call it. Nothing else.
Like, can you like how can we learn it? Like, do you have any documentation?
Documentation, it is available when you go through. If you go through this website, there is one free training available. Just give me a second. Splunk fundamental one. Yeah, fundamental one. Just Google it and just go through it. I think it is a 5 hours course. Okay, this one. Register it. It is free, and there it is explaining about the search language and everything. You'll be able to learn it easily. Okay, shall I paste you the link? 1 second. Copy link address. I just paste it in the chat window. Yep. Coming back, so this is my query. What is happening? Audit, we are searching the audit logs. Action is login attempt and info is failed. Wherever the fail login attempt failed is happening, it is showing me the result. So username was Shahrukh. I tried with this login attempt. I tried. It is failed, and I tried with admin as well. You can see it is failed. So you can imagine it as my query. I am getting the results. Okay, this is my query. Now what I want to get notified. See, if you want to get notified for user is equal to Shahrukh only, you can add it here. Just click on this, add to search. Now it is searching specifically for this data. Whenever this user Shahrukh will try to do a failed login attempt, it will trigger an alert. Right now it is just the query. Now what I want is I want to save it as an alert. If you want to save it as a report as well, you can save it. You can fetch a report as well. We'll see later. I want to create an alert. I selected this. What is the title? Failed login attempt by admin. I'm the admin, so by admin. Permission, so I'm not talking about it. Yeah, here is the main thing. Alert type. Do you want it to be a scheduled alert or real time? What is the difference is in real time, the at the back end, the search query that the query that I wrote it here at the back end, on top of which I'm creating the alert. In real time, it continuously checks for uh, this query. If it gets satisfied, if someone failed login attempt, Shahrukh failed a login attempt on my Splunk, it will trigger. If it is scheduled, for example, I scheduled it for every month on first of every month. So what will happen for the whole month? Whatever failed login attempts Shahrukh has performed, it will not trigger. It will trigger, the query will get run for the whole month on the first of every month. In that case, I'm checking the data monthly, once only. So in production, most of the time, every alert is real time, so that we are checking the alerts in real time. We don't want a scheduled alert. So on a specific day or on a specific month, it will get triggered. I'm doing it in real time. Okay, triggered alert per result. There are multiple things. Number of result, for example, I want to get an alert when this query, when this failed login. Okay, when the query that I wrote at the backend, action is equal to login attempt info failed user Shahrukh. When the failed login attempt, when this query got satisfied 3 times, or when failed login attempts were 3 equal to 3 within 1 minute, then it will throw an alert. Okay, if I save it right now, or just give me a second, there is more.
What is the
Throttle, yeah, hello.
what's the permission like private and shared in app?
See, in private, only you will be the person who is creating the alert will be able to see it. If you shared an app, other users as well as other apps, if we install multiple apps here, if they want to utilize this alert, they can utilize it as well. They can read the alert as well. If I create this, select this private only, I can see it. Others users are not able to see it. Other apps that are utilizing it will not be able to utilize it. Okay, it is private to me only. If I share it in app, it will be available to all.
Okay.
Throttle, for example, suppose I am generating huge amount of failed login. It is written 3 in 1 minute. I am generating 500 in 1 minute. So what will happen in that case? It will create a batch of 333, and it will show me multiple alerts. If I want to suppress the alert, I want to receive only once. Okay, after that suppress it for 1 day, or right here, 1 day. In that case, what will happen? It will trigger once, and then this alert will be suppressed for the next 1 day. After 1 day again, whatever amount of time you have failed login, it will trigger only once. So to decrease false positive, to decrease the amount of alert, you can apply the throttle here as well. Add actions, so if you want to receive email, want to post your data to a specified URL, run a script, all these things you can do. So most of the time in organization, we send an email to us here. Okay, just put your email address and all. You want to increase the priority highest, you want to receive the log file, whatever is logs you want to receive as well, you can attach it as a PDF and save. Right now I don't have any working email server, so I'm not selecting this. I'll select this add to triggered event. So what will happen? It will add it to the triggered event column. I'll show you that as well. I'm making it as critical. I'm removing send email. I'm saving it. So my alert is saved now and it is viewable. Sorry, where it is? It is here now viewable. Okay, let me now perform some failed login and then let's check out how it is getting triggered. I put Shahrukh username 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I performed some failed login. So the query was 3 in 1 minute. So it will trigger after 1 minute. Okay, it is waiting for the threshold to cross. Where it will show in the activity triggered alert. It will trigger here. So we'll see it after some time. So leave it. So one more thing was reports. Search and reporting. So we'll see that alert after 1 minute. Let's meanwhile again. What I want right now is I want to create a report of failed login attempt on my Splunk. Here I have an option again of creating the report. I'll click on this. I'll name it as report on failed login on my Splunk. This is the name of this. Time range picker. In my report, if I want this time range picker, this is called as the time range picker. Sorry. This is called the time range picker. What I'm doing right now, I'm saving it as a report. If I want this time range picker, if I want to modify the time on my report, I am selecting it as yes. I'll show you, just give me a second. Report failed login attempt on my Splunk. Time range picker, yes. Save it. Your report is now created. Just simple. See, one more thing, whatever alerts, whatever dashboard, whatever report you are creating, the main thing at the backend is the query. You must understand how to write efficient query and you will be able to use Splunk. So see, right now it is showing me the failed login attempts on my Splunk. This is the report. If I click again, I'll reach on this reports tab. Some of them are, all of them are uh, by default created. This one is the one that I created. So I'm the owner. Okay, let me open it. This is my report right now. If I want to change the time, if I want to see it for the last 15 minutes, I can see that as well. Okay, you can play with the time range as well, last 5 minutes also. So that's how you save the reports. Yep. So I hope my 1 minute is over. I hope to see the alert, the triggered alerts. See, it is now triggering. Failed login attempt by admin. You can see the time range as well, 10:30 IST. If you want to see the results, just click on this. I'll see the results as well. I tried to do a failed login. So that's how you create alert. If it was attached to the email address, it would have probably sent me an email with the log file. Are we clear, guys? Good. Guys, anybody has any doubt?
No, we are good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me close it. So I'll be sharing these with all of you. So don't worry about it. Just give me a second. Okay, let's move to the
Why are you
distributed
sharing those
architecture.
documents to us?
Hello.
How are you going to share them through email or how it is?
I'll share it through email. I'll share it with the DevOps team, so they'll share it with you. They probably have it. They'll share
I
it with
don't
you.
think I don't think we are getting them. So I just make sure if you want my email address, something we'll give it to
Why?
you.
Why do you think that you'll not be getting it?
We didn't get any so far. That's what.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll definitely deliver it to you. Just 1 second. Let me check it out. Is this thing available on my G drive? Just give me a second. G drive, G drive, G drive. I pasted the link in the chat. I'm gonna just try to access it. Let me know if it is accessible.
Yeah, we are able to see 4 files out there.
You able to see what? Can you repeat?
4 files.
Oh, okay, just 1 second. It is not opening on my top. See, enjoy guys. I uploaded everything. Update existing. Okay. So it is uploading. You'll be able to see it in some time. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so I told you about this thing. Okay, let's work on this now. Distributed deployment of Splunk, everything on separate component. There is standalone deployment, and there is one more deployment, last deployment that I forgot to tell you. Sorry. Basic deployment. The architecture will be like this. Just one second. First standalone, second basic, then third is the distributed one. Third is this one. Okay, basic deployment. What we have, just I'm talking in layman term. I have my laptop on which I install the Splunk Enterprise. This one. Okay, I'm just expanding this one. I have my laptop. I have installed Splunk. It is working as an indexer and search it. I don't have to worry about it. Now what happens? One more person come beside me. He is also having other laptop, or there is person X. He also has one more laptop. What I want is I want the logs that are present on his laptop to my laptop. Okay, like this. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll deploy a forwarder here again. Simple terms, simple thing. I'll deploy a Splunk forwarder, and I'll tell him to forward the logs to me. That is called as basic deployment. And then we have the third. So see what is happening in the first standalone deployment. Everything is installed on a single component on your laptop. Okay, you have forwarder. Sorry, you have forwarder. What I mean by forwarder, it is not a full-fledged forwarder. I can read the files that is present on my laptop. Then come the basic deployment, where I have one more laptop, and on that laptop I just install the forwarder, and I'm forwarding the logs to my laptop. Okay, I have two instances. Now we talk about the production environment. So this is basically full-blown production environment, distributed deployment, where we have the indexers separate as well as search it separate. Okay. In our lab, what we are going to do, I only have two instances available, so we'll not be going with this one because I don't have three instances. I have two instances available. What I'll do, I have two Linux machine. Okay, let me show you. I have a Linux machine one, on which I'll deploy my forwarder, and I have a Linux machine 2, where I'll install the Splunk Enterprise, which will be working as a searched as well as the indexer. Searched and indexer. So this is what we are going to do. So there are some log file on this Linux machine that we will be forwarding to the searched and the indexer. Just imagine, for example, if we are again talking in layman terms, just imagine this was my laptop. I installed Splunk Enterprise, and there is one more person came in who has laptop X, or there is one more machine. Okay, there is one more machine on which some logs are there, that some application is there or whatever it is. I want its logs. So what I'll do, I'll just deploy the forwarder there, and we'll do some configuration changes. I'll show you, and we'll get the logs. So if I open my document, guys, just check out this document. This G drive, is it, I think, available to you now? All the files are uploaded. Just check it once and let me know. And some person asked me for the ServiceNow integration with Splunk. ServiceNow integration with Splunk. It was one document.
Yeah, we can see all the files now.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is the document, very detailed document. You can go through it. I'm again pasting it in the chat window. Okay, so coming back to the Splunk, let's see. Now we are talking about the configuration files. What all configuration files are required? What all changes needs to be done to get the data from that forwarder to the indexer? Okay, what we are talking about this practically. This thing. Now we want the data from one machine to the other machine, and we are deploying forwarder. Now we'll see what all things are important. First of all, just remember, forwarder will be sending the data on port 9997 TCP. Okay, This needs to be end at the Linux. This needs to be open at the here at the indexer layer. This needs to be open and connectivity should be established between them on port 9997 so that indexer can receive the logs. Okay, let's see what all configuration files are there. Guys, there are only two important configuration file, that is output.conf and input.conf. Okay, forwarder require output.conf. Here in the output.conf, what we will do, we will provide the IP address and the port number of the indexer with the output.conf file on the forwarder. We need to manually go there and add this entry. And at the indexer layer, we need to open this port at the index at the Splunk level, so that my application will listen for this thing. So receiver, you need to put this line. And there is one more log file. I think it is not written clearly here. Data feeds from input.conf. Just 1 second. This thing is happening at the indexer. Okay, there is one more configuration file called input.conf. Input.conf file similar to this. The name is similar to this input.conf file. Okay, but this is at the forwarder layer, forwarder level. These two files. What this input.conf is for example, on that machine, for example, in C or in D drive, this particular Intel in this Intel directory, some file is there. The Intel, I want to read it. So in this input.conf, I'll tell the forwarder what file to read. Okay, so here I'll tell the path what file to read. If I want to read multiple path as well, I can mention it here. It is happening at the input.conf at the forwarder layer. My Splunk forwarder will be reading those files at these path, and then it will check out the output.conf. It will see an IP address that it has to forward the data to. It will then forward the data to that IP address, and at the indexer layer, the indexer is opening that port to receive the data. I hope the architecture is clear and these configuration file. Only two configuration files are there. First of all, let's talk about the forwarder. This is the forwarder. First, we have the input.conf, which says what file to read. And then we have output.conf, which says where to send the data or which indexer to send the data. Here we will mention the indexer IP address and the port number. At the indexer, at the application Splunk application level, we have to open this port for the data to be received by the Splunk indexer. I hope we are clear, guys. Everything good in this configuration file? Really important.
So can we just configure this one in the another laptop and see?
I'll show you the practical as well.
Okay, okay.
Is this the concept is clear? What all configuration files are used and how the data is getting transferred?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, where is my document? Yep. So this is the configuration files that are required. So configuring an indexer. So this is specific. I'll show you the practical on the Linux machine. So I'm just giving you a brief overview first. So through the wget command, my Linux machine doesn't have a GUI. So I'll be utilizing the wget command and will download and install the Splunk package. It will come zipped. So I'll untar it and unzip it into the opt directory. Then I'll go to the Splunk bin directory and run this command Splunk start accept license and Splunk enable boot start. So this first command will accept the license, the terms and agreement of Splunk, and this second command will be allowing Splunk to run at boot. So this is not required in Windows, this is required in Linux, because whenever you install a service in Linux, it will not turned on or restart or start when you restart your Linux instance. If it got shut down or if it got restarted, all the services will not run. Only those services that are added into the boot start, that have this that where we have run this command, or we have made an entry in the boot start list, those will be started. So we are making it enable boot start, so whenever your Linux machine boots, the Splunk service will automatically started. With these three commands, simple commands, our Splunk enterprise will be installed. Okay, now we will access it through the Splunk web. And the second thing is we need to open this port 9997. Either you can do it through the GUI, setting data, forwarding and receiving right port 9997, or if you want to do it through CLI, you can do this. Or the third method was this one only. You can just open that configuration file input.conf and make this entry. So if you do this thing, it will automatically create a configuration file and add this thing. Okay, 9997. There are three methods, whatever suits you. I'll suggest doing through the GUI only, because yeah, if easy things are available, why go for the hard way? So with this, your indexer will be start running. So, and it is receiving on port 9997. Now it is waiting for data to be sent on the forwarder layer. So now go to the other instance on which you will install forwarder, and the following command again will get the wget. You'll utilize the wget command and download and install the forwarder. Same command. See, either it is a forwarder, either it is an indexer, command is same. So don't worry about it. Now the main thing comes to tell the forwarder to send the data to the indexer to run the following command. Splunk add forward server. Guys, I have used layman terms so that everybody understands. So this is the command. What this command is doing, this will create an entry of the same inside Splunk etc system local output.conf. What we are doing, we are telling the forwarder to send the data to the indexer. We are simply making with this command an entry inside the output.conf. Or if you want, you can open this output.conf as well and just write this thing like this. Here we are doing this on output.conf. Just write like this and just put the IP address where to forward the data to. Okay. Now you need to tell the forwarder to send the specific file, what file the forwarder needs to read and send. Okay, so this is the command. And what this command, warlock, so I am monitoring the warlock directory. What this command will be doing, this will create an entry inside Splunk etc system local input.conf. So this is the file. Okay, in my case the add monitor command didn't create, so it didn't work out for me. So what I did, I manually went into this file input.conf and manually put the entry monitor warlock. Okay, yeah, so that's it basically. That's how we configure the forwarding and receiving on a Splunk instance. So let's see it practically. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. I need to drink some water, then we'll start the practical. Just 2 minutes.
Are you speaking? Sharak, you there?
Want to drink water?
Okay, guys, let's start the practical. So I have these two instances available with me. So I'll make this as the forwarder, and I'll make the other one as the indexer. So okay, so these are two machines, Linux machines that are available on the AWS. So I'll be accessing it. I'll be installing the indexer on one and the forwarder on the other. I'll follow this document thoroughly, so you don't have to worry about anything. Just follow this document and you will be able to do it easily. So where is my putty session? One second. Where's my putty? Okay guys, so I am logged into this machine. I'll be making it as an indexer. So before making it, let me install some package. Let me install the wget command. Yum install. Let me do sudo su yum install wget command. Yes. Okay. So wget command is installed. Now let's follow this document. Configure indexer. Directly download the file from splunk.com or install it through the wget command. So what I need first of all is Splunk Enterprise. Download Splunk Enterprise for free. If I had a GUI, I would have possibly downloaded from here easily. But I don't have a GUI. What I need is I want the wget thing. So I'll click on this download. Take me to that page. And one more thing, if you guys are facing any issue from anywhere, so multiple videos are also available here. Okay. So here is the wget download via command line. So I'll click on this and I'll get the wget command. So here is the wget command to download and install Splunk. Just copy it, paste it on your indexer or your indexer instance. Just hit enter. I just downloaded the I just installed the wget package, and I'm now utilizing the wget command to download and install Splunk indexer. I'll hit enter. Mm, 450 MB. Okay, so it is now installed here. Okay, sorry, it is downloaded. The package is now downloaded. Guys, am I audible to you now? I'm saying
Yeah.
everybody is not hearing. Guys, am I audible? Margaret?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I have downloaded this one. So the next step is you have to untar it and unzip it. So the command is simple: tar-x vzf. The name of the file is this, and then copy it to the opt directory. Simple. Hit enter. Okay, I wrote this command. Hit enter. Okay, so it is installed now into the opt directory. Let's check it. Let me clear the screen so that it goes to stop. Cd opt, hit enter ls. Splunk is now installed. Okay, what is the next step? We have to go to the bin directory. So guys, any of you is a Linux expert? Anybody? Splunk. bin. So for running any of the command, you have to go to the in this directory Splunk bin, opt Splunk bin. Bin directory is the important directory. So the next command is Splunk start hyphen accept hyphen license. Command is right. Command is right. Hit enter. It is asking you for the username and password. So give it. If you don't give it, the username and password will be a default admin and change me. Hit enter. Okay, it is done. What is the next command? Splunk enable boot start. Splunk enable boot hyphen start. Sorry, hyphen start. So the Splunk installation of enterprise is done. It is acting as indexer and search at both. If I want to access it through graphical user interface. Let me close everything first of all. Okay, what I want right now is I want to access it graphically. So this is the IP address. Paste it here. The port number is 8008. Enter. The Splunk that I just installed is not accessible over the public internet. Enter. This is my Splunk. Okay, freshly installed on the instance here. Now what I want is the next step is what is the next step? Now we have to do this thing, this one, receiver. We need to enable the receiving on this Splunk application. Simply we can do it through the graphical user interface, setting data, forward and receiving settings. Where it is data? Setting data here, forwarding and receiving. Click on this. Configure receiving. Click on this. Here you can mention the receiving port. If you want to change to any other port also, you can change it, but the recommended is 9997. 9997. Hit save. Now it is listening on this port 9997. Your indexer configuration is done. Okay, you are done with configuration. Did you see how easy it is to install and work on Splunk? Now let's move ahead on to the forwarder layer. Now we have one more instance that is the other one, this one. Okay, let's just open it, check it out. Guys, whoever is not speaking, please go on mute as it is creating disturbance. Let me mute you then. Okay, thank you. So here I am on to the other instance, and what we are doing, we will be installing the forwarder here. And what file we want to monitor is, we want to monitor the war log directory. So what is war log directory? Let's see. War directory, I think. Here is the war log directory. Let's open it. What happened? Vi log. Sorry. cd log. So these are all the important log files that are present in the war log directory. So what I want, so whatever is happening on this instance, okay, it is everything is getting written into this log file. I want the data that is present in this log file onto my indexer. Okay, so that's what my end goal would be. So let's go back. Okay, so what we are doing here right now, we will be configuring the forwarder, same steps. So right now I'll need the wget file for the Splunk forwarder. Splunk universal forwarder. La, 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 la. Splunk universal forwarder, mine is Linux, so 64-bit. Download it. And get the wget command from here. It's downloading shit. One second. Let me delete this file. Close it. Okay. I got the wget command here. Let me clear the screen. Okay. Now I have to download yum install wget command. Sorry, install wget. Okay, it is installed. I'm clearing my screen. Now just pasted the Splunk forwarder wget, hit enter. It is downloaded. Next step is untar it. Tar hyphen xbzf Splunk forwarder. Copy it to the opt directory. Hit enter. Now let's move on to the opt directory. ls Splunk forwarder is now installed here. What is the next step? Yeah, we are done with this. Now we have to go to the bin directory, cd bin, Splunk bin, and then Splunk start. So I'm not doing anything, I'm just following the document. Okay, accept hyphen license since hit enter. So name Shahrukh, password is mine. Okay, one more thing before configuring the this part. This is my indexer right now. If I go to the search and reporting app, skip this thing. So it is not appearing here. Basically, it will show you a brief overview of things are here. Okay, leave it. So right now, data is not there from that indexer. Let's configure from that forwarder. It will automatically show you here. Right now, it is not showing. Okay, leave it. Where I am. Sorry, this is the indexer. This is the forwarder. Yeah. So Splunk enable boot start. Again, I'm on to the forwarder. Okay, on that machine where I installed forwarder. Now I'm done with this. Now my next thing is, now we need to tell the forwarder to send the specific file. No, sorry, this one. I need to tell the forwarder where to connect or where to send the data. Okay, so here I'll be mentioning him forward the data to the indexer. So I'll just copy this command. What happened? Logged out. Sorry. Too many. Let's close it. This is the one. Yeah, sorry. Splunk add forward server. So now I'm telling my forwarder where to send the data. Splunk add forwarder server. Then I have to mention the IP address of the indexer, and the IP address of indexer is this. And my indexer is listening on port 9997. 9997. Are we good till now, guys? Everything good? I'm telling my forwarder to send the data to this indexer.
Yeah.
Okay, hit enter. So it is now authenticating me. So with the username and password. Okay, now it has added this forwarder. Now I need to tell Splunk forwarder what files you have to send. So the next thing is here, Splunk add monitor server warlock. So in my case it didn't work out, so I'll manually go into this directory. Okay, Splunk etc system local input.conf Splunk etc system cd dot Splunk etc system local input.conf. Before that I need to install the VIM package, I think so. Okay, it will work. VI package will work. Where I'm right now, I'm inside the Splunk forwarder etc system local. I need to make changes in the input.conf, vi input.conf, open it. This is the input.conf file. I'll remove all the entries. I don't want anything. What I want is I want to monitor sorry, where was it? I want to monitor this thing, war log. So I'll just copy this thing here. Sorry, 1 second. Copy this thing, paste it here, save this thing, hit enter. Okay, this is done. Now if you want to check whether the connection is established towards the forwarder, just run this command by going into the bin directory. I'm just checking whether it is connected to the indexer or not. Splunk forwarder bin. So you can just run this command, Splunk forward -server, hit enter. So sorry, my command is wrong. Forward -server, forward list forward -server. Sorry, Splunk list configured one. Okay, it is active. It is now, it is connected to the forwarder. Now let's hit a restart and let's see whether the configuration changes work. So we'll wait for 2 minutes, then we'll see our indexer whether data is coming in or not. So I'm done with the configuration. I think I have followed the document thoroughly. Yep.
Like how many forwarders we can integrate in the indexer?
Depends on the hardware configuration of the indexer machine where you are integrating the indexer. So recommended is I think 16 GB of RAM and I think 2 TB of hard disk. So basically an indexer, a single indexer can handle up to 200 GB of, sorry, 300 GB per day of data. A number of forwarders can work. If they are totally sending less than 300 GB per day, a single indexer with the recommended hardware configuration can handle all of them.
Okay, so 16 gig RAM instance can handle 300 GB data per day.
Yes.
Okay, so if it is more than that, we need to
16
go for
CPU
the
core as well.
clustering concept.
16 CPU core as well. Yes, if it is more than that, then you need to create a cluster of the indexer. Vim. Let me generate some log.
And also, like, is it something like do we need to install a forwarder always on the mission where we'd like to get the logs?
It is the
Or
best
can
practice. Yeah.
okay, or also can we also get the logs remotely using forwarder?
Remotely means what? How?
Like I have a X system, but I would like to get the logs of Y system from X mission. Right now, like we just like overwritten the input configuration file, right? Like we just
Just give me a
delete.
second. Just give me a second. We'll talk about it later. Just 1 second. Let me show you this. See, guys, it is showing the latest event came a few seconds ago. Okay. If I click on this data summary, if it got, yeah. Here is the IP address. 23,000 events have came from this IP 172.31.80.96. 172.31.80.96. This is the file. This is the forwarder directory. Okay, PWD. It is where the forwarder is installed. It is throwing the data towards my indexer. If I click on this, you can see the data as well. Last 15 minutes. Data is coming in from that forwarder, warlog audit files and all these file, warlog hotkey. All the data is now flowing into my indexer. Okay. So now coming to your question, yeah, can you repeat your question? What you're saying? There is a computer X, you want its log, and
So like we just overwritten the file input conf, right? So there we have
yes.
just deleted the IP configuration. So I
No,
assume
no,
that's the
I didn't deleted anything. So there was just a random thing written. I written my own that I want this log file. Okay, I don't know what I deleted it, but in production we remove those thing, whatever is written extra. So we just write our line that I want specifically this log file. I don't want anything else. So I
okay.
just pasted my thing that I want this thing and nothing else. I
So I
didn't
thought like
remember what I deleted.
okay. So I thought like using forwarder we can also extract the logs from the different systems as well. Okay, I don't think it's the case.
Mhm.
Like we can only extract the logs from the same instance using a forwarder, right? Not from
Yes,
someone
right,
else's instance.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, no, you can't. You have to deploy the forwarder there. So there is one more method if you want to deploy it. Suppose. Uh, so I hope you have heard about syslog. So suppose there are 10,000 or 10,000 Linux machine. It is not possible for an admin to download and install Splunk forwarder each and every time. So what we can do, we can configure and utilize the syslog method. It is not related to Splunk. I'm just giving you general information. There will be a syslog server. Okay, and on this syslog server we can install the forwarder. What is happening here, all these 10,000 Linux machine are sending logs through the syslog method to a single centralized syslog server, and on this syslog server I can install the forwarder and it is automatically getting the logs whatever is present on this 10,000 machine. Okay, so syslog works most of the time on port 514, but it is customizable, TCP or UDP, it can be any. And one more thing, in terms of Windows machine, so this is for Linux. um, in terms of if it is a Linux machine, we call it as Linux server. If we have a Windows machine, Windows server here, the method will be kiwi syslog. It is similar, just the naming is different. Kiwi syslog. You can Google it more if you want more information here. And we can install the Splunk forwarder. Sorry, Splunk forwarder area. That will be leading the log same forwarder.
And also like if I want to restrict like say suppose we have installed forwarders on multiple missions and we are getting the logs to the same indexer. But I would like to limit the user to see the logs of just two forwarders, not anything else.
If you
In that
want
case,
to put restriction, it will be not based on the forwarder, it will be based on the indexes here. There will, at the indexer, uh, there will be multiple indexes. Okay, suppose what you can do, suppose there is a forwarder 1, or suppose there is a Windows forwarder, there is a Cisco forwarder, Cisco ASA forwarder. What you can do on the same indexer, okay, this machine only same, it is going same on the same indexer, you can create a new index and name it as Windows index here. all the data will be stored in this Windows index. And now if you want to restrict the access, you can restrict the access based on this index. You have this firewall data, it will be stored in a separate index called firewall. You can restrict access based on this index. If you want to see these indexes, suppose this is an indexer, just imagine, click on the settings. Here is the option of indexes.
Uh,
There are multiple indexes available. If you want to create your own, I'll just create a new, I'll name it as firewall. I'll save it. I'm not modifying anything else. Firewall index is now created. Okay, if I'm going more detail, might be some of you not get it. This is my indexer, or
yeah.
sorry, or let me create a Linux only Linux logs or Linux index. So where sorry, space
Underscore.
is not allowed. So what I want to do is I want to store the Linux log in this. Right now what is happening, all the logs are going into the main index. Okay, all these logs, see 7 minutes ago it got updated. So right now what we are doing, we are pushing the logs into the main index. If you want to see it, it is going into the main index. Let me show it to you. This is my running Splunk forwarder and indexer one. So 7 minutes ago, if I click on this data summary,
So by default, it's a main index.
by default it is a main index. If I want to change it, I can change it also. Where is the index?
So everyone can access main index in that case. Is that correct?
Yeah, so right now I created a, Linux log index. If you want to store the data there, so you have to make the just logged out. So hyphen, so you have to just make the changes in the input.conf file here, this file, this one. You have to more specific at the forwarder layer in the input.conf. So if I where it is, cd splunk, cd opt splunk forwarder etc etc local where was the path, just one second. etc system local, etc system local, and we have the input.conf file. Here you just have to mention index is equal to Linux underscore log. Now the data will be transferred there.
And is this the file for this one, like parser?
Linux underscore logs. No. This is not the file for the parser.
Okay.
So now this is how you make the configuration. You change the
I think
configuration in
it's
the
logs,
input.conf.
not log.
And one second. So once you do this, once you restart it, the data will now be moved to the whatever recent data that is getting captured, it will be moved to the Linux underscore log. So that's how it works. Any doubts, guys? Splunk restart. So I think we are at the end of the session almost. Restart. Guys, any doubt? Are we good? This is done. Let me make some changes here. Install. Guys, any kind of any doubt anywhere till now, just let me know.
So, if I'm not wrong, you are a Splunk developer or admin?
I'm a part of I've been working on more than 5 years. So I am part of the L2 analyst team working on incidents. And I'm also part of the implementation team for the end-to-end deployment of new projects coming either on Splunk or ArcSight.
Okay. So, what are the scenarios you ran into major issues with the Splunk all these days? Like, do you have any better examples around that one? Like in a real organization perspective, when we like really working as a L1, L2 support. So, did we ran into any major issues with the setup or any like a? You can explain me in a couple of scenarios or.
I'll not be able to remember couple of. If you have any specific scenario, I can give you if you have any kind of doubt anywhere.
Let's say like it's like we are getting a pretty huge traffic during a specific time. So at the time Splunk is not responding as expected. Let's say one of the instances is not we didn't see any alerts on it, but it didn't give the proper response, something like that. I'm just assuming, like I'm just throwing a word. If you have any bad examples like that, you can give it to us.
No. When we are deploying Splunk, before deploying it, so big deals are getting signed, SLAs are there, everything is there. So you can't expect anything to go wrong. So during the solutioning part, all the managers will sit together, all the managers and CEO and everything between the client and our team, whatever, if it is an outside client. So everybody sits in, they calculate how much data we will be getting in times of spike or anything. They will set up the disaster recovery as well, they will set up the high availability as well. Deals are getting signed, there is huge amount of penalty and everything, so nothing can go wrong. We plan it in advance, so there is no
Agree.
point. Yeah.
But nothing can go wrong that is as planned. So, but that's where we come into picture as a L1, L2 support. What if something goes wrong?
See, your instance will not go down. I have not seen any kind of issue because we already give more than the recommended hardware configuration. So if spike was also there, my Splunk will be able to handle it. And in production environment, the architecture is distributed, clustered, so you don't have to worry about it regarding the spike in the logs and all this thing. If your question is if one of the instances you are not able to log in or it is not responding, might be there is other issue. So first of all, we'll check the connectivity. Is it through, are we able to connect it or we are not able to connect it thoroughly? We check the ports, we check the IP address, then we check the logs. We are able to log in through the CLI. For example, if it was installed on this instance, if I'm not able to access it, this forwarder, I'll log in there through the RDP, or if I have CLI version, I'll log in there. I'll check out the log file. So Splunk d.log is the most important log file, where if any kind of error is occurring on your instance, it will be logged there. So you can capture that error, you can Google it, you can check out the Splunk documents, and there is a website also, splunkAnswers.com. So you can post your queries if you have any doubt there.
Okay. And one other thing is like when while you're talking, I got another question. So when we get a huge spike or data logs in the logs, so during that time, anytime any of the instance become unresponsive, that's how you are not able to connect to it, or it's because of the network. Or did you ran into any of that?
Not specifically. So I am an L2. So I'll work only on incidents forwarded to me by L1. So as of now, yeah, that the issue that I just explained to you, that if one of the instance was not responsive, so first we'll check the connectivity, then we'll check out the log file there. So splunkd.log is a very detailed log file. Any kind of issue arise on your Splunk anywhere on that instance, it will be logged in the splunkd.log file. Just open it, capture the error message, and just Google it, or just check out on the Splunk website. You'll definitely get an answer.
Okay. And other thing is like instead of like we are planning well ahead, do we have any mechanism that we can auto scale based on the like size of the logs and all that? Do you see that kind of scenarios?
No,
We
auto scaling is not there. No. So we
okay.
only have a limited number of indexer, limited number of searcher, or limited number of devices to onboard. We planned everything in advance. So there is no
Yeah,
chance of auto scaling everything. Yeah.
that's a for me, like what I see is like planning ahead is a world way of doing it. Auto scaling is now like that's how market is working, right? That's why I'm asking.
Market is working auto scaling for the for example, if you have web servers, multiple web servers are there or database servers are there, auto scaling is going on for those server, not for Splunk right now. Because in a clustered environment, if we auto scale and de-auto scale, it will be a mess, because it is very crucial component where all the logs are getting stored. So we can't just auto scale things and again delete some of the instances. Our data will get lost. So we have fixed number of indexers where the data will go. We'll monitor them. There will be a separate security team or analyst who will be monitoring, or the admins are there who will be monitoring these components and everything. If they see that we need more storage, they will contact the AWS team, or if it is a data center team, they will attach more hard drives to it and will work accordingly.
Okay. So that means like none of the logging or monitoring systems we can do as auto scaling, right?
No. Yes.
Okay. Can we take it as a granted, or it won't change anytime soon?
I'll answer it as we plan it in advance.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot for joining. I hope the session was wonderful.
Yeah, it was good, man. It's really like a knowledgeable, and that's really helpful.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.